What is going on, guys? Today I'm going to be talking about how I've been making $1,000 a week with Uber, UberX rideshare, and UberEats, and exactly how you can do the exact same. To preface here, I've only been driving Uber for about a month. Now I have this gig app experience with DoorDash already, and in terms of accepting orders, it's the same thing. So, and the first week was New Year's Eve. I made $400 that night and $1,000 that week. And then 2 weeks later, I believe it was 2 weeks later, it was 1,000 again. I realized, okay, this is definitely a very high potential thing to do. I didn't work 40 hours those weeks. It was I can put them out, I can put the numbers back in the screen. I believe it was 30ish or so. Yeah, I mean, let's hop right into it. The one thing I would say is it's a situational thing. Some weeks you can make 1,200, 1,400. Other weeks you might make 400 or 500 and give up, do something else. That's fine. And a lot of this, which brings me to my first point, comes down to the area that you're in. The area that you are in is absolutely crucial. If you live out in the country, super far away from any big city, any big areas, this is probably not going to work for you, to be honest. So let me just save you your time. You can still get the app, and maybe whenever you're in a big city for whatever it may be, you can do it during then on the occasion, because the great thing about this app is you can do it whenever you want. It's the flexibility. The area is huge. Any metro city, like if you live in Philadelphia, Los Angeles, Chicago, like this will be good. And I live in Grand Rapids, which is, for those of you that know, it's a relatively big city, but it's not huge. But there is plenty of restaurants, people needing rides, plenty of events going on, so it's definitely pretty solid. One thing with the areas too, like if you're driving in Detroit or Chicago, definitely get familiar with the area. There's obviously some bad parts. Be careful with what rides you may accept. Even me, Grand Rapids is generally safe, but um, some rides, even if the pay is right, it just might not be worth it. The second point is the timing. One thing is seasonality, and it's just situational, because that last week that I made $1,000, it was snowing. It seemed like it snowed the entire week, and it didn't matter what time of day I went. I could hit go online, and I would be making money, and it would be $30 plus an hour, no problem. It was mainly UberX, Uber rideshare. It was great. And then the week before that, there was no snow, and I was getting a little bit pissed off. Just wasn't. There were some days that were good, some days that were bad, kind of just here and there. The second part of the timing. What time of day are you actually going to drive? You want to be pretty consistent with your timing. Personally, I will go from probably 6 to 10. That's a pretty solid window. People going to work. That's the main thing. Or people just hungover or whatever. It's a good window. That can run into the lunch window of like 10 to 2. It seems like 11 to 1 is the hot spot in that time frame. If the orders are good, sometimes I'll drive from 6 to 1 with the break in between. I also do personal training, balance the two. 6 to 10, 10 to 2 is I don't love that time frame, honestly. I think the 4 to 7 or even up to 8 is also pretty solid. That one definitely look into. This is for the morning person. This is for my schedule. If you're an early waker, this is for you. If you're a night owl, then you can do 4 to 7. You can try a lunch run for some Uber Eats. I mean, I don't think it's that great, honestly, but some days it can definitely be worth it. Um, but also, if you're a night owl, you can go late nights, like midnight to 3 sometimes, or even like just 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. can be pretty high pay, especially the weekends, like Friday, Saturday night. It can be very good pay. So it just depends what type of waker you are. If you're in the middle, then you just have to kind of pick whatever works for you. And every area might be a little bit different too, with what times are the best, but it's generally going to be the same. So try what works for you. You can ask ChatGPT this shit. You can say what city you live in. Have them make you a schedule for it. I mean, you'll be able to figure this part out. Now the next point, UberX rideshare versus Uber Eats. I do like to mainly do Uber rides over Uber Eats. I just like to stay in my car. It can be annoying waiting for food, and you know, park the car, walk inside, come back, and then drop the food off, get out of the car. It's a bit annoying, and I think there's more potential for higher pay in Uber rides. So what I'll do is, based on the surges, right? If the surges for Uber rides are super high, and it's not just spotty, it's like your whole area is just purple. Uber Eats off, just do Uber rides, make some quick money with that, and it will be perfect. And then what I'll do is, once I'm going, and I notice that the Uber rides are paying less, I'm getting shitty requests, I'll just toggle on Uber Eats, and a lot of times you get pretty good orders with that too. You just have to figure out how your area is. I generally like to keep Uber Eats off until Uber rides die off. Then I turn them on. Gives me two options, and between those two, I can generally make some money. And if it's really dead, I'll start driving home. If I catch a ride on the way home, cool. If not, so be it. When you're feeling like it's dying out, it's not worth it, or it's just you're done driving for the day, you're just too tired, definitely try and catch a ride back towards where you live or a delivery. Even if it doesn't pay super great, if you're going that way anyways, as long as it's not $4 ride or some stupid order, then I would take it. Always keep that in mind. Just be super efficient. That'll help you a lot. And a lot of this is based off of your schedule too, right? So for me, I obviously mentioned I do personal training too. I have about 5 clients, so it's right now about 8 sessions per week, and I'll drive to them for the most part. Meet them at their apartment gym, home gym, whatever works best for them and me. I've always been big on efficiency. I'll, before a session, I'll try and Uber my way to them. And then after a session, try and Uber my way back, which is huge because, especially in my case where my session pay is solid, but me having to drive there and back, that kind of puts a damper into it. But because I do Uber, that really flips it entirely. It turns it from a negative to a positive, and it's just really good for my overall income efficiency and hours that I work. That brings me to my next point. What rides should you accept? Now with DoorDash, I was very strict on the $1 per mile plus, have that ratio. If you are curious about DoorDash, I actually have a video on that on my other channel. I can link that below. It's similar, but there's some more different nuances between the apps. So go check that out. When it comes down to accepting orders, accepting rides, you're gonna see a dollar amount and a mile amount. I think I lately have raised my ratio to 1.25, about even 1.5 a lot. You want that to be dollars per mile. So if you get a $15 offer for 10 miles, that's good. $12.50 for 10 miles, that's not too bad. 10 for 10, it's not horrible. If you're on the way home, it's good. But you will get some of the worst orders. And if you accept all of them, you are going to be wasting your time entirely. You will get offers for $3 for 10 miles, $4 for 12, $16 for 32. Don't even think about taking any of these. If it's on the way home, that is the only exception. If you're patient, you can get plenty of orders, Uber Eats or UberX, with $13 for 4 miles. That's perfect. $19 for 6 miles. Those are outliers, but they will come. That is where you make your money. Patience does pay, but also gauge it based on how busy it actually is. Of the last 5 orders you've received, what's the average, dollar per mile ratio that you're getting at that moment? If it's really bad, then you're probably not going to receive great orders at that time. And some days you'll make less. So in that case, you can go down to 1.25 ratio or a 1 of a $1 per mile. But if it's below that, I would just start driving home at that point. And if you're in a good area, this shouldn't be too big of a problem. If you're not, then you probably have been, if your area is bad, then you're probably not watching this video anymore. You have to be picky with the orders that you take. That's non-negotiable. And then that brings me to my last point. It's very specific to you. Maybe if you're watching this video, you really need some income right now. Maybe this is your main thing. Maybe it's your side thing. You can do it as a main thing, as a main gig, if you're in the right area. But I just think in the dead times, those bad days can just kind of limit your money making. You just can't guarantee that the good days will always outweigh the bad days. And, you have to deal with car maintenance and everything too. Always look to expand your ways of making income, whether it's a side business, more gig apps, DoorDash. I hear, Spark Driver is good with Walmart. Amazon Flex, I hear, is not bad. There's some medical courier ones, which are hard to get onto. And I'll probably look into some of these too. And, maybe come back on here. Maybe stick with Uber. There's Uber Black, Uber Pet Rides you can explore with. There's definitely some options. So, always expand your options, your investments. Learn how to invest, learn how to save, budget, all that. You need to have other options for income. I will put a link down below to sign up with Uber. Honestly, I don't remember exactly how much you or I could get, but I know at least somebody benefits. If you do sign up, if you use my link, then I think both of us get some money, so that'd be cool. That was a lot of info packed into one video, and if you have any questions, just leave me a comment below. Be happy to answer. Overall, it's still pretty solid. You can supplement that with other things too. You have investments going, you have interest in your bank going, plenty of options. Look into all of it. And the other thing I would say too is maybe it's a dead day for Uber. You're checking online, you want to go give some Uber rides out. It's just no surges. Surges are super spotty, $2, $3. Honestly, it's really not even worth it to go out. If the surges are not $4, $5 plus, your area unfortunately is probably not that great, or it's just a dead day or a dead time. This doesn't mean that you should never go online when it's not at this level of surge. If it's not $4 or $5 plus surge in a big area where it's purple all around, it doesn't mean you can't go out. If you're already downtown or something, or you're already, on your way home from something, or it's going to be a busy time, like 6 a.m., 4 p.m., or it's a bar night, then by all means, go online. But I would just say, if it's a random time and it's just dead, then you're better off. You're better off doing something else. So Uber can be great. Be very picky with orders. It's definitely very situational. Like sometimes you can make 35, 40 an hour. Other times you're making like 15 because there's just orders are so crazy. So, but yeah, I think it's definitely a good side hustle to do if you have the time, if you're looking to make some more money. And yeah, I mean, that's that. So, stay tuned for more. I should have a silver video coming out next week or so. So yeah, it should be good. Good luck.